FPV backpacks, well, they suck. I think they're absolutely poorly designed and they just waste way too much space. So I've been on the hunt for the perfect FPV backpack. And after looking at pretty much every bag on the market, I ended up buying a photography-based bag. And for me to be able to carry FPV drones, I added some elastic straps from Amazon. And it's the closest thing in my mind to perfect. It's the DJI Tech OneMo 2, and this cost me $220 of my own money. But as good as it is, there's some quirks to this bag, and it does, to an extent, fall short for FPV. So DJI Tech has actually released the OneMo FPV. And what I want to find out is whether or not it's worth its $200+ price tag. Now, one thing I really love about the OneMo 2 is its expandable storage compartment. When I go to my in-laws for a long weekend or for a Christmas break, I now only have to take one bag because all my clothes go into the expandable storage compartment and all my drone stuff is where it normally is. And I'm also not normally a fan of this back side opening, but seeing as this opens up the whole way and it's not sort of this half or 3/4 opening, it's been okay to get used to. Now, I do keep my spare props in the tablet sleeve and I can also take my laptop. Now, I also need to use my bag for filming and making these YouTube videos, so having space for my camera gear is also important. And then you've got these side entry flaps which are designed to be for grabbing a camera out, but I actually just have closed them off and used them to store my cables in it. And the flap next to the goggle, for example, that's where I keep my goggle cable. As for my radios, the Radio Master Boxer is my daily driver, and you can also fit the Jumper T20 or the Radio Master Pocket in as well. But if I was using the TX16S, I'd have to reconfigure it and work out a different way to store it. Then for DJI goggles, Walksnail or even HD0, they fit in quite well. My field pack goes down the bottom with my batteries and charger, and then my camera gear and newbie drone toolkit also has a space. And there's a dedicated spot for my camera, as well as all my antennas and other little bits and bobs. So now let's take a look at the DJI Tech OneMo FPV backpack, which is supposed to be dedicated to FPV, and see how it stacks up. Okay, so after quite a bit of stuffing around and trying to work out the configuration, this is where I've landed. You can do up to 4 quads on the front if you want, but I prefer to go 2 up front. And for my initial setup, I also went with the radio in the split compartment on the bottom or the back side. And then I've got my camera and my goggles in a dedicated space on the top. The way I've done it, you can get your DJI HD0 or Walksnail goggles in, or even your analog goggles. And my goggle cable is going to go in this little top compartment. There's space for my GoPro and my charger. And I'm going to carry my bits and bobs in the LiPo-safe bag that came with the backpack. Then underneath that is my camera bag and my newbie drone toolkit. My field pack and my flight batteries are going to go down the very bottom. So now it's time to actually take it out to the field and see how it goes in the real world. By the way, if you want to learn how to build a 5-inch freestyle drone, like the one I'm flying here, and look, it doesn't matter whether it's DJI, Walksnail, HD0 or Analog, I've put together a comprehensive course that covers absolutely everything, from part selection and part compatibility, to building the actual quad, and Betaflight setup to get you flying. Everything is there. Just click the link in the description. One thing I don't mind is this Z design. I think it's a pretty creative way of making the backpack. But one thing I really don't like is this split shelf for the radio controller. I find that it is too flimsy and the radio itself becomes a structural part holding up all the stuff that's on top. And PGY Tech are also suggesting that you store your FPV quads inside the bag, and I just think that's a little bit silly. And they've wasted this opportunity to provide you with different partitions instead of these ones designed to fit your drone into the bag. And look, you can go to their website and get extra partitions for around $7 each, and I'm definitely going to be doing that because those extra partitions are just going to give you more creative ways to store all your stuff. Now, I've been getting creative and stuffing around and trying to make this configuration work, and I think with having a few extra partition pieces, it would actually be perfect. Now, what I've done is I've actually used that shelf vertically, which has given me another wall, and I can now store the radio horizontally as well as the goggles vertically, but it does need an extra partition. The battery bag has all my camera gear and bits and bobs in it like before, but now the way I've done it, I can actually get 2 cameras, or if you went with 1 camera and an extra lens as well. I've also moved the tools to the dedicated side pocket that's actually designed for the tools, so there's now plenty of space inside the bag for my GoPros. Coming in at over $250, it's certainly an expensive FPV backpack. And if you're price conscious, there are other options out there that are cheaper. But the thing is, they're not going to be as efficient with being able to maximize all the storage for their size. So if you want an FPV backpack that has a ton of space with a lot of storage, then it's worth checking out the PGY Tech OneMo FPV Backpack. I'm going to be using mine as my daily driver, and I'm probably going to just use the OneMo 2 for all my camera gear. So that's it from me. I'm Darren Allett. Until next time, don't forget to send it.